Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a text that's, well, thousands of years old, yet speaks directly to our modern challenges. Things like truth, leadership, accountability.
Absolutely. Timeless wisdom.
And this text, it begins with these really enigmatic, disconnected letters, ta, sin, their precise meanings, known solely to the divine.
Right.
It's an immediate invitation to contemplation, isn't it? A powerful reminder of the miraculous nature of the source and just how vast divine knowledge is compared to our own understanding. What an incredible way to start any deep dive, right?
Indeed. That opening instantly sets a tone of humility, before immense wisdom. Our core mission today, as we dive deep into Surah Al-Naml, it's the chapter 27 of the Holy Quran.
A source submitted by you, our listener, for this deep dive.
Exactly. A truly rich source.
Yeah.
Our mission is to extract the enduring life lessons from this ancient text. We'll be drawing heavily from a classic scholarly interpretation within the Sunni tradition. We'll explore its central messages on guidance, accountability, and the profound consequences of both belief and, well, disbelief, all illuminated through these really compelling narratives of various prophets.
That's fascinating.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, it's really about understanding how timeless wisdom can offer us maybe a unique shortcut, a way to be well-informed about fundamental human truths that resonate across all times and cultures.
So whether you're, say, prepping for a meeting on ethical leadership, or maybe looking for a fresh perspective on personal responsibility, or just insanely curious about what ancient texts can offer our modern world, prepare for some genuine aha moments. We're going to break down complex ideas with clarity, hopefully, and just enough unexpected connections to keep you hooked. Because this deep dive, it's custom tailored for you.
That's the plan.
We're going to spend some serious time here really exploring the depths of the surah. Let's start at the very foundation then, the surah's central message. It seems to be that the Quran's guidance, its promises, they're fundamentally for those who genuinely embrace its realities and, crucially, act on them.
That's right. It's presented as a powerful, clear invitation, worship Allah alone. And it states pretty unequivocally that accepting this invitation is to your ultimate, almost unimaginable advantage.
And the flip side.
Rejection leads to profound self-inflicted disadvantage. But if the path is so clear, so beneficial, what's stopping people?
Exactly. What's the biggest hurdle someone faces when confronted with these truths, this profound path forward?
That's a vital question. And what's fascinating here is how the Surah pinpoints the denial of the hereafter as the greatest hindrance to spiritual and, well, moral progress.
Denial of the hereafter. Okay, so not just like intellectually disagreeing.
No, it's deeper than that. This isn't just about a future judgment you might or might not believe in. It actively distorts an individual's present perception of reality in a really insidious way.
How so?
Well, the source explains that Allah causes their misdeeds to appear fair-seeming to them, essentially sugarcoating their own mistakes, their own wrongdoings.
Okay, wait. That sounds tricky. Is that like a divine trick? Or...
Not a trick, no. It's presented as a direct consequence of their rejection, a form of spiritual blindness they've kind of invited upon themselves, which then leads them to wander blindly through life.
So if their own actions seem good to them, that sounds like a profound form of self-deception. How does that denial, that lack of ultimate accountability, how does it actually manifest in someone's daily life? What does that spiritual blindness look like in practice?
Oh, it's far from abstract. When someone denies ultimate accountability, they essentially erase the foundational distinction between truth and falsehood. It's like the moral compass just spins wild.
Right.
The source describes this resulting existence as purposeless, where truth and falsehood are equal. Imagine living a life where the lines between right and wrong just blur completely.
Wow.
Where your only guide is maybe what feels good right now or what benefits me immediately. If there are no ultimate repercussions, no ultimate purpose beyond immediate gratification, then those boundaries of right and wrong, truth and deception, they become incredibly fluid, almost meaningless.
So it's not just a minor character flaw.
Not at all. This self-deception, fueled by that lack of perceived ultimate accountability, it causes moral boundaries to just dissolve. The unrestrained pursuit of desires becomes paramount. It's identified as a profound psychological and spiritual affliction, really, a deep pathology directly linked to rejecting that ultimate accountability.
It sounds like wearing blinders, but ones you've put on yourself.
Exactly. And you end up ensuring you never see the cliff edge until it's far too late.
Yeah.
It fosters irresponsibility, rampant self-centeredness, and an excessive, almost frantic attachment to temporary worldly pursuits. Ultimately, it prevents them from accepting any meaningful moral restraints.
That's a powerful and frankly chilling description of the consequences of denial. So, if denying the hereafter is this great self-imposed hindrance, what's the path forward?
The Quran itself is described as a clear book, a kitabi mubin, which isn't just like a poetic phrase, right? It means its teachings are articulated with utmost clarity, distinguishing truth from falsehood, light from darkness with undeniable precision.
Yes, the clarity is emphasized.
And its divine origin, the source says, is self-evident, obvious to any discerning individual who approaches it with an open mind, recognizing it's not a human composition, but something far beyond.
Right. The idea is the truth speaks for itself if you're willing to listen.
But who is this clear book for? Who truly benefits from this profound clarity that cuts through all that self-deception we were just talking about? The surah makes it very clear. It's guidance and good news for the believers. And it doesn't leave that vague. It defines these believers precisely.
Okay, how?
Those who establish obligatory prayers, salah, with consistency and devotion. Those who duly pay zakah, that's their obligatory almsgiving, purifying wealth, supporting the needy.
Right, the practical pillars.
Exactly. And, crucially, those who possess unwavering, rock-solid faith in the hereafter. This means belief in resurrection, divine recompense for deeds, and the undeniable realities of paradise and hell.
So it's a package deal, almost.
It is. And this isn't merely a descriptive list of attributes, like checking boxes. Nor is it a passive state of just intellectual agreement.
Yeah.
This naturally leads us to ponder. What's the profound interconnected relationship here between belief and action?
Exactly. That's what I was wondering. It's not just believers do these things, is it?
Okay.
Is it that doing these things makes you a believer, or is it that belief compels these actions? Which way does the causality flow?
It's definitely the latter, according to this interpretation. And it's presented as a fundamental causal link. Genuine faith, Iman, isn't just a thought in your head. It naturally, inevitably manifests itself in practical obedience and submission, which is Islam.
Okay, so faith drives action.
Think of it like this. The guidance embedded within the Quran isn't something that's passively absorbed or just intellectually acknowledged. It's not like reading a manual and putting it on the shelf.
Right.
Rather, it's actively unlocked. It's truly experienced through consistent adherence to its commands. Without this active engagement, the full transformative benefit of the Quran's guidance remains elusive, almost like a code you can't quite crack.
That makes sense.
This dynamic is actually compared to a patient. Imagine a patient who expresses complete trust in a physician, truly believes in their expertise, but then completely fails to follow the prescribed treatment, takes none of the medicine, ignores the advice.
Desired healing won't happen.
Exactly. It won't materialize no matter how much faith they say they have in the doctor. A purely theoretical belief, just floating in the mind, devoid of practical application, is insufficient for achieving true spiritual transformation and accessing that divine guidance.
It's about embodying the truth, not just knowing it in theory.
Precisely. Putting that knowledge into motion to see its profound impact on your life, on your perception of the world. And for you, the listener, think about how true understanding in any field often comes through practical application. Right? Not just theoretical study.
Absolutely. You can read 1,000 books on swimming.
Yeah. But until you actually get in the water and move your arms and legs, you haven't truly gained the benefit, the real understanding of swimming. Same principle here.
That makes perfect sense. It's about living the knowledge, not just accumulating it. Okay, let's move into the narratives then, which are always so compelling. Starting with Prophet Musa, Moses.
A pivotal story.
His story opens with this incredibly awe-inspiring encounter. He's traveling at night, sees a fire in the distance, goes to investigate, maybe for warmth or guidance.
Right.
And then hears a voice call out from it. Blessed is whosoever is in the fire and whosoever is round about it, and glorified be Allah, the Lord of the Alamin. What a moment.
Truly staggering.
The scene itself is described as formidable, almost paradoxical. A fire burning within a green bush, intensifying while the bush actually grew greener.
The burning bush imagery.
With light emanating that some interpretations even connect to the light of the Lord. And then the direct address. O Musa, verily, it is I, Allah, the Almighty, the All-Wise, an immediate, undeniable, direct divine communication.
It is.
What makes this encounter so profoundly powerful, and what does it reveal about the divine nature?
Well, what's truly fascinating here is the profound awe Musa experienced, which the sources say mirrors the awe felt by all prophets when receiving revelation. This wasn't just a vision, it was a direct, unfiltered encounter with divine majesty. But the scholarly interpretations, they explicitly clarify a critical point here. Blessed is he who is in the fire does not imply Allah's physical presence in the fire.
Ah, that's important. So no anthropomorphism.
Exactly. It's an essential theological safeguard, refuting any anthropomorphic understanding, attributing human-like physical qualities to God. Instead, it's understood to refer to blessings upon Musa himself, or perhaps the angels present, or even a figurative manifestation of divine light that filled that sacred space.
Got it.
And the immediate follow-up, glorified be Allah, the Lord of the Alamin, meaning Allah is far above any imperfections and is the Lord of all worlds, that serves as another critical theological safeguard.
Reinforcing his transcendence.
Precisely. Reinforcing Allah's absolute transcendence from his creation. It's a declaration that he is far above any physical limitations, any resemblances to creation, and cannot be contained by space or time.
And the voice itself.
Right, the miraculous nature of the voice. It's described as being heard by all parts of Musa's body, not coming from a specific direction, like left or right, which further emphasizes that divine communication transcends ordinary human perception and physical limitations. This whole encounter demonstrates Allah's power and authority in a unique, incomparable way, while simultaneously, rigorously upholding his absolute transcendence. It's undeniable proof of his existence and authority without ever resorting to physical or anthropomorphic attributes. A perfect balance of awe and theological precision.
So after this awe-inspiring call, this incredible direct revelation, come the undeniable proofs, designed specifically to convince a stubborn people, Pharaoh and his court.
Yes, signs.
Musa is commanded to cast down his staff, and it transforms into a colossal, terrifying snake, a John, causing him to instinctively flee.
A natural human reaction to something so overwhelming.
But he was quickly reassured by Allah, told that messengers do not fear in his presence, which is a testament to their divine protection and the power of that reassurance.
Absolutely, a crucial point about prophethood.
Then, as another compelling sign, he's told to put his hand into his garment, and it emerges luminous, brilliantly white, without any disease.
Another clear, undeniable miracle.
These are presented as 2 of 9 distinct signs, specifically for Pharaoh and his people. Why these particular miracles, though? Why a snake and a shining hand? Why not something else? What was the strategic intent behind them?
That's a great question. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the Quran's presentation of these miracles reveals a really strategic and profoundly intelligent form of divine argumentation. It wasn't random.
Okay.
The source notes that Allah's miracles were often designed to outdo that nation's expertise and specialization. Think about ancient Egypt.
Magic, sorcery was huge.
Exactly. Magic wasn't just a sideshow. It was highly valued, widely practiced, almost seen as a form of science and statecraft. Pharaoh himself relied heavily on his magicians.
Right, he calls them in later.
Precisely. So, Musa's miracles were specifically tailored to surpass human magic, not just by being bigger or flashier, but by being fundamentally different, supernatural, utterly beyond any human capability or trickery.
So it wasn't just a random display of power.
No, not like, say, parting the sea, which came later and served a different purpose. This was a direct intellectual challenge to the prevailing knowledge and, frankly, the arrogance of Pharaoh's society, a society that prided itself on its magical prowess.
Hitting them where they thought they were strongest.
Exactly. And this raises an important question, really. How does divine proof always seem to remain relevant and impactful within the cultural framework of the people it addresses? It speaks their language, in a sense, but transcends it.
That's fascinating. You could almost extrapolate.
Well, you could speculate, couldn't you? How might divine proofs manifest differently in different eras or cultures? Perhaps in our current age, an era so steeped in science and information. Maybe proofs would manifest in ways that defy scientific explanation altogether, or cut through the noise of information overload with undeniable clarity that even the most skeptical mind couldn't just dismiss.
Interesting thought.
The core point remains. They are always perfectly designed to leave no legitimate excuse for disbelief among those who genuinely seek truth, regardless of the cultural context.
But here's where it gets really interesting with Pharaoh, right? Despite these undeniable signs, presented in a way that directly challenged their supposed expertise, he and his people defiantly dismissed them. Plain magic, they said. They refused to acknowledge the divine origin. But the source explicitly states that in their heart of hearts they were convinced. These signs came from Allah.
They knew. Internally they knew.
Yet they chose rejection. out of wrongdoing and arrogance. So what's the implication of that? Knowing the truth but consciously choosing to deny it, to suppress it.
This reveals a profound spiritual pathology.
Mm-hmm.
Arrogance,
Good.
kibra. It's not just ignorance, which can sometimes be excused. It's far more insidious. It's a deliberate, conscious suppression of manifest truth.
A choice.
A choice to prioritize pride, ego, worldly power over clear divine guidance and undeniable evidence. The source tells us this conscious decision, it basically hardens the heart, makes them impervious. Well, resistant to any advice, any admonition, even the most compelling
And
evidence.
nothing could get through.
Nothing. They were so consumed by their pride that they persisted in their evil ways, right up until the very moments before their utter destruction by drowning. This self-imposed blindness, a direct consequence of their cuberd, prevented them from acknowledging what was evident even to their own inner conscience, and it led them directly to their demise.
So arrogance isn't just being proud, it's an active denial of reality.
It underscores that arrogance is a severe spiritual ailment. It can lead individuals to consciously deny manifest truth, even when their own inner voice, their conscience, affirms it. It's a tragic cycle of self-deception that ultimately leads to self-destruction.
And you can see echoes of that today, can't you?
Absolutely. How often does that same kind of arrogance manifest in our modern world? Whether it's in politics, business, even personal relationships. People sometimes refuse to acknowledge clear evidence or adapt to new truths simply because it would mean admitting they were wrong.
Or giving up power or comfort.
Exactly. Giving up a position of power or disrupting their comfortable worldview. It's a universal human failing, unfortunately. And the story of Pharaoh serves as such a stark warning against it.
It really is a powerful and timeless warning against that kind of pride. From the undeniable raw power shown with Prophet Musa, the Surah then kind of shifts gears, doesn't it? It introduces us to a different kind of divine blessing.
Yes, a different facet.
Profound knowledge and unmatched dominion through the stories of Prophet Dawood, David, and his remarkable son, Prophet Sulaiman, Solomon.
Right. Father and son, both prophets and kings.
Upon both of them, Allah bestowed profound knowledge. And this wasn't just prophetic knowledge, right? It included worldly sciences, practical arts, like Dawood's skill in crafting armor.
Yes, practical, beneficial knowledge.
Suleiman inherited both prophethood and kingship and was uniquely granted these extraordinary abilities, understanding the language of birds, for instance.
Incredible gifts.
And being given all things needed for his vast kingdom. This was explicitly termed an evident grace, a clear sign of divine favor. But with such immense knowledge, such unparalleled power and dominion, what was their response? How did they react to these blessings, which could so easily lead to pride?
That's the key contrast, isn't it? They expressed profound, immediate gratitude. They declared, "All the praises and thanks be to Allah, who has preferred us above many of his believing slaves."
Gratitude first.
Yes. And the narrative significantly emphasizes knowledge as the primary blessing bestowed upon them. It actually mentions the knowledge before it mentions their vast empire and dominion.
Oh, interesting sequence. Why is that significant?
This sequence isn't accidental or arbitrary. It's seen as a deliberate indication that true, divinely bestowed knowledge cultivates a deeper understanding and appreciation of Allah's favors, and that fosters profound humility and continuous gratitude.
So knowledge leads to humility, not arrogance.
In this context, yes. It stands in sharp contrast to Pharaoh, whom we just discussed. He had immense worldly power, but lacked that divine knowledge, and was ultimately consumed by arrogance.
Right.
This contrast raises an important question. How does authentic knowledge, when truly understood as a divine gift, serve as a crucial safeguard against pride and arrogance?
That's a great question, because we often think of knowledge as power, and sometimes power does corrupt, leading to arrogance. So how does divine knowledge specifically prevent that?
Well, it fundamentally prevents arrogance because it enables one to recognize that all abilities, all blessings, all understanding ultimately originate solely from Allah. It's like a constant internal reminder of one's utter dependence on the divine.
Ah, okay. It takes the ego out of the equation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That recognition naturally leads to a state of submission and thankfulness, rather than self-aggrandizement or taking personal credit for what is ultimately a gift. True knowledge, in this divine context, actually makes you more aware of your limitations, your place in the grand scheme of things, and the sheer vastness of what you don't know.
So it instills humility.
It does, because you realize your achievements are not solely your own making. They're part of a larger divine plan and grace. It's a very different perspective on accomplishment.
That shifts the perspective entirely.
Okay.
So Suleiman's leadership itself was extraordinary. His army, it included meticulously organized hosts of humans, jinn, and birds. That alone shows unparalleled administrative prowess, managing different realms of existence.
Quite the operation.
He diligently inspected all subjects, even noticing the absence of one small bird, a hoopoe. But here's a crucial detail that speaks volumes about his leadership style. Upon noticing the hoopoe missing, his first reaction wasn't anger or blame.
What was it?
He engaged in self-reflection. He questioned, what is wrong with me that I do not see the hoopoe? Before even considering the bird's actual disappearance or fault.
Wow. That's profound accountability, looking inward first.
Exactly. A leader's profound sense of accountability and introspection. And then, the story of the ants. This is famous.
Ah, yes, the Valley of the Ants. A beautiful passage. The narrative recounts Suleiman's mighty army approaching this valley, and in a truly remarkable moment, a female ant audibly warned its colony.
What did it say?
Basically, retreat into your dwellings to avoid being crushed unwittingly by Suleiman and his soldiers. Suleiman, understanding the ant's speech through his divine gift, smiled. He was amused, impressed by its wisdom.
And his reaction.
He immediately offered a profound prayer. My Lord, inspire me to be grateful for your favors, and that I may do righteous good deeds, and admit me by your mercy among your righteous slaves. He saw a lesson even there.
That's incredible. So what virtues does the ant exemplify?
Truly remarkable virtues. Mercy towards its community, responsibility as a leader or member, foresight to anticipate danger, and incredible wisdom, especially in attributing potential harm to Suleiman's unawareness, not malice. She didn't cast blame.
Without even knowing it, that phrase is key.
It is. What's fascinating here is that phrase, without even knowing it, reveals a sophisticated level of empathy and collective responsibility. This seemingly small, insignificant creature prioritizes the safety of its entire community, even from unintended harm by a powerful, albeit benevolent, entity like Suleiman's army.
So it teaches us that responsibility extends to all creatures.
Yes. And that empathy should guide interactions across all of Allah's creation, regardless of perceived size or importance. It's a powerful lesson in collective well-being and astute leadership from the most unexpected source, a tiny ant.
It really makes you think, what can we learn from the smallest among us about safeguarding our own communities, our teams, our families?
And how often do we consider the unintended impact of our actions, especially when we're in positions of power or influence?
That's a humbling thought, absolutely, a profound lesson. It makes you wonder if our own project managers could take a lesson from that ant's proactive communication.
Perhaps.
Okay, so the hoopoe. It eventually returned, and it delivered an astonishing report.
Yes, crucial intelligence.
It reported finding a powerful kingdom in Sheba, ruled by a queen, but they were prostrating to the sun instead of Allah. Polytheism.
A major deviation.
Now, Sullivan's immediate reaction to the hoopoe's initial unexcused absence was to threaten severe punishment. But crucially, this was conditional.
How so?
It was conditional upon the hoopoe not providing a clear reason. This shows his unwavering commitment to justice and fair judgment. He gave an opportunity for explanation before imposing a penalty.
Due process, even for a bird in his vast army.
Exactly. And the hoopoe's report wasn't just observational like, I saw this. It included a profound analysis of how Satan had diverted them from the true path.
So intelligence and insight.
What does this teach us about leadership, then? And the pursuit of truth within any organization or kingdom?
This entire episode demonstrates the immense value of reliable information and the absolute necessity of fair judgment in leadership. Suleiman's approach of seeking a clear reason before punishment. That highlights the critical importance of due process, verifying facts before making decisions.
Don't jump to conclusions.
Right. He didn't act on impulse, despite his immense power. And the hoopoe, in turn, exemplifies honesty, diligence, dedication. It provided crucial intelligence that wasn't just factual, but also insightful, initiating this significant diplomatic and spiritual encounter.
So it raises the question.
It raises an important question. How does effective leadership require not only authority, which Suleiman clearly had in spades, but also a deep commitment to truth, a genuine willingness to listen to diverse sources of information, even a small bird, and the wisdom to act upon verified knowledge, rather than assumptions or biases?
It's not enough just to be in charge.
No. A true leader cultivates an environment where truth can emerge, is willing to verify it rigorously, and then acts upon it justly and decisively. This critical due process isn't just for ancient kingdoms with jinn and birds. It's essential in any decision-making today. from personal choices to corporate policy. Facts must be carefully weighed before conclusions are drawn, and people must be given a fair hearing.
That's a powerful blueprint for leadership, truly. Okay, so upon receiving Suleiman's noble letter, which simply invited her to submit to Allah, no threats, just a clear call to monotheism.
A very direct, dignified approach.
The Queen of Sheba, Bilqis, displayed her remarkable sagacity, her wisdom. She didn't react rashly, she consulted her advisors.
Smart move, seeking counsel.
And she chose a diplomatic approach first, sending a valuable gift to basically assess Suleiman's intentions and his power, testing the waters.
A political calculation.
But Suleiman rejected the lavish gifts. He stated that what Allah had bestowed upon him was far superior and sent them back, a clear message that he wasn't motivated by worldly wealth.
Undermining her assumptions.
Then, to demonstrate divine power unequivocally, he asked his courtiers, humans and jinn, who could bring her magnificent throne to him before she even arrived.
A demonstration of power beyond earthly means.
A powerful jinn offered to bring it before Suleiman could even rise from his seat. Fast. But then, one with knowledge of the scripture interpreted differently, perhaps a pious human or even Suleiman himself accessing divine knowledge, offered to bring it within the twinkling of an eye.
Instantaneous transport. Clearly supernatural.
And boom, it appeared instantly. What was the Queen's final realization after all these extraordinary events? And what does it tell us about the power of truth when confronted?
Well, when Bilqis finally arrived, she was presented with her own throne, but disguised slightly to test her intelligence and discernment.
Another test?
Yes, and her response, it is as though it were the very same, demonstrated her sharp intellect and strong resolve. She recognized that despite the alterations, she wasn't easily fooled.
Okay.
Finally, upon entering Suleiman's magnificent palace, which had a floor made of smooth glass that she initially mistook for a pool of water, she was utterly awestruck. She pulled up her skirts, thinking she had to wade through water.
A moment of profound realization.
Exactly. She realized the immense authority, the technological or miraculous prowess, and ultimately the divine power at Suleiman's disposal. This profound realization, seeing evidence that transcended anything she had ever known or could imagine, led her to declare her submission.
What did she say?
My lord, verily I have wronged myself, and I submit, together with Suleiman, to Allah, the Lord of all that exists. A full conversion.
Unlike Pharaoh.
Exactly. Unlike Pharaoh, whose arrogance led to conscious denial even when his inner conscience affirmed the truth, Bilqis's sagacity, her wisdom, allowed her to remain open to evidence.
Despite her background.
Despite being raised in polytheism, leading a powerful pagan kingdom, her conscience wasn't devoid of a fundamental sense of accountability. When confronted with clear signs and undeniable proofs of divine authority, her wisdom enabled her to recognize the truth and submit.
So truth has inherent power.
This demonstrates that truth, when presented with compelling evidence, possesses the inherent power to lead even powerful rulers to conversion, provided there is an underlying disposition towards seeking knowledge and justice.
It really compels us to compare Bilqis's open-mindedness to Pharaoh's destructive arrogance. It makes you ask.
It raises a crucial question for all of us. How does one cultivate an open heart, a mind willing to acknowledge truth, even in the face of challenging facts that might overturn everything you thought you knew, instead of instinctively shutting down in pride or denial?
It seems to be a matter of prioritizing truth and justice over ego and preconceived notions. A tough practice.
Very tough, but clearly essential for true understanding and growth.
That contrast between Bilqis and Pharaoh is stark, incredibly insightful. Okay, now let's turn to the stories of past nations. These serve as powerful warnings, reinforcing the consequences we've been discussing.
Yes, cautionary tales.
First, the people of Thamud, to whom Prophet Salih was sent. His message was simple, consistent with all prophets: worship Allah alone.
Tawhid, the core message.
Their response: they immediately split into two quarreling factions. A small minority who believed, and a large majority who disbelieved and opposed him.
Division and conflict arose.
Salih pleaded with them. He asked why they seemed to hasten for evil, meaning divine punishment, instead of seeking good, which was repentance and Allah's mercy. Why rush towards destruction?
A logical plea.
But they regarded Salih and his followers as bad omens. They attributed any misfortune they faced to them, clinging to their superstitions instead of looking at their own actions.
Scapegoating the messenger. A common tactic.
What happened next? When their rejection escalated from just disbelief and superstition into active malice, into outright conspiracy.
Well, the narrative exposes a sinister plot, hatched by 9 ringleaders who were known for spreading corruption and wickedness throughout their land. These weren't just average citizens, they were the movers and shakers of evil.
Okay, what was the plot?
These men swore a solemn oath, invoking Allah's name ironically, to assassinate Salih and his family at night. A surprise attack under the cover of darkness.
And their plan afterwards?
They planned to deny any knowledge to Salih's heirs if questioned. Plead complete ignorance. We didn't see a thing. It was a meticulously planned, utterly ruthless scheme designed to eliminate the truth and its proponents entirely.
Oh.
However, Allah, the All-Knowing, planned his own counter-strategy while they remained unaware of its implications. This is a critical detail.
Yeah.
They thought they were being cunning, operating in secret.
But they weren't unseen.
Exactly. Their every move was known, and a greater plan was already in motion. The outcome. Their utter destruction, swift and complete, along with their entire nation that persisted in disbelief.
Total annihilation.
Their houses were left in ruins, reduced to desolate husks, serving as a clear, visible sign for those with knowledge and discernment, a tangible monument to divine justice. This really raises an important question for us, doesn't it? What does this tell us about human schemes versus divine will?
It sounds like a powerful assertion of ultimate sovereignty. So no matter how intricate, how cunning, or how powerful human machinations might seem, they are utterly powerless against a higher will. Is that the message?
Precisely. The fact that Allah planned against their scheme while they were completely oblivious underscores a fundamental principle that echoes throughout these narratives, and really throughout history. Human machinations, no matter how intricate, cunning, or seemingly powerful, can never overcome divine will.
Allah's plan always prevails.
Always. And his justice ensures the wicked are ultimately dealt with, utterly destroyed in this case, while the righteous, like Salih and his followers, are saved. It's a profound lesson in humility and the inherent limits of human control, especially when that control is sought through injustice and malice.
Makes you think about assuming absolute control.
Definitely. Think about the implications of assuming you have absolute control, or planning against others without considering higher principles or unseen consequences. It's a stark reminder that there are always forces at play beyond our immediate perception, and that true power lies not in manipulation, but in alignment with truth and justice.
From corruption and conspiracy in Thamud, we move to a story of blatant, open immorality, the people of Prophet Lut, or Lot.
Yes, another challenging narrative.
He was sent to a people openly and defiantly practicing homosexuality, engaging in acts that were considered abominable, and according to the sources, unprecedented in their time. It wasn't hidden, it was public.
Right. The defiance is emphasized.
Lut admonished them. He questioned their engagement in such shameful acts with full awareness. He pointed out they knew perfectly well what they were doing was wrong, transgressing natural and divine limits.
He appealed to their conscience, their knowledge.
Their response, not repentance, not even a moment of reflection or shame. Instead, a defiant declaration to expel Lut and his family from their city.
Kicking out the one voice calling for morality.
And mockingly stating, "Verily, these are men who want to be clean and pure." Their contempt for purity, for basic moral rectitude, was astounding and openly expressed. They ridiculed the very notion of being clean.
A complete inversion of values.
So what was the outcome?
In response to their persistent defiance and this profound moral corruption, Allah decreed their fate. Lut and his believing family members were saved.
Though with one exception.
With the exception of his wife. She was destined to be among those destroyed. Why? Due to her complicity and approval of her people's evil deeds. It shows that shared belief, not just family ties, determined salvation in these moments.
Okay. And the punishment.
Subsequently, Allah rained down upon them a catastrophic rain of stones, utterly obliterating their cities and their very existence. It's depicted as a complete wipeout.
A terrifying end.
It vividly illustrates the perceived severity of moral corruption and the critical importance of upholding purity within a society, according to this text. The public and defiant nature of their immorality, coupled with their arrogant rejection of the Prophet's call for moral rectitude, led directly to this devastating divine punishment.
What's the broader lesson there?
It demonstrates that societal moral decay, particularly when it reaches a point of open defiance against divine commands and even mockery of those who uphold purity, it can invite catastrophic consequences. It forces us to consider the societal implications when moral boundaries are not just challenged, but openly defied, celebrated, and mocked.
A difficult question for any society.
How does a society protect its moral fabric when such foundational principles are discarded? When the very concept of clean and pure becomes a subject of ridicule? This narrative serves as a stark warning about the perceived necessity for individuals and communities to adhere strictly to divine moral standards for their own well-being and ultimate survival.
After these powerful, intense historical lessons, which truly underscore the consequences of human choices, the surah transitions again. It moves to a direct command to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and by extension to all believers.
It's a shift back to core principles.
The command is to express profound gratitude to Allah, and immediately after it poses a series of rhetorical questions aimed directly at challenging idolaters, those who deny Allah's oneness. The first is stark. Is Allah better, or what they ascribe as partners to him?
A fundamental challenge.
It then moves into incredibly compelling proofs of Allah's absolute oneness, his Tawhid, and his unmatched power. It does this by drawing our attention to the grand phenomena of creation all around us. So what are these proofs that are laid out? It feels almost like a divine courtroom argument.
That's a good way to put it. What's fascinating here are these rhetorical questions. They implicitly assert Allah's absolute superiority by inviting the listener then and now to consider the self-evident truths of creation. Truths that, the text implies, even idolaters would have to concede if they were honest. They compel reflection and aim to eliminate any excuse for polytheism.
Okay, break them down for us. What's the first category?
First, the creator and provider. The surah asks, who else created the heavens? With their incomprehensible vastness, their shining stars, their revolving planets, and the earth, with its diverse terrains, its fertile lands, its majestic mountains, making it a stable, livable abode for all creatures.
Obvious answer. Only Allah.
Right. And who alone provides the sweet, life-giving water from the sky, causing wonderful gardens full of beauty and delight to grow and flourish? The text suggests even those who worshipped idols, when truly pressed, would admit that Allah alone does this.
So the logic follows.
The only one who truly deserves worship is the one who creates and provides sustenance for all existence, not the powerless idols they might have worshipped.
Makes sense. What's the second proof?
Second, the stabilizer and sustainer. Who else made the earth stable, preventing it from convulsing and shaking uncontrollably, making it suitable for habitation? Who placed fresh and sweet rivers flowing throughout the earth in intricate networks, meeting humanity's needs for sustenance and purification?
The infrastructure of life.
Exactly. Who set firm, unshakable mountains that stabilize the earth, and who set a barrier, an invisible yet undeniable boundary between fresh and salt waters, preventing them from mixing and corrupting one another, even when they meet in vast oceans and estuaries. These are presented as undeniable signs of intricate design, precise engineering, and comprehensive control over the natural world.
Hard to argue with the physics of estuaries. Okay, third.
Third, the responder to the distressed and inheritor of earth. Who else responds to the distressed one when he calls? When all other avenues have failed, when you're at your absolute lowest ebb, and removes evil and hardship. This highlights Allah as the ultimate refuge, the ultimate solace in times of profound difficulty.
That's a very personal connection.
It is. And the source notes something interesting here. Sincere supplication from a distressed person is often accepted, even from a non-believer or a sinner, because that sincerity, that desperation, holds a special, powerful position with Allah.
Why is sincerity so powerful, then, in the eyes of the divine?
That's a deep question. Authentic narrations mention 3 types of supplications that are particularly accepted: from an oppressed person, from a traveler, often in difficulty, and from a father against his children, implying deep hurt. What unites them often is a moment of profound helplessness and unadulterated sincerity, a cry from the depths of the soul stripped of pretense that seems to resonate profoundly with the divine. Furthermore, the text mentions Allah makes generations inheritors of the earth, each generation succeeding the one before it. This demonstrates his continuous dominion, a cyclical pattern of life, death, stewardship, and succession over the planet.
Okay, and the fourth proof?
Fourth, the guide and orchestrator, who guides humanity in the utter darkness of land and sea, when no other light or compass is available, historically or metaphorically, and who sends winds as glad tidings, carrying the promise of rain and life, preceding his mercy, his rahmah.
Bringing life.
Yes. These questions, taken together, collectively underscore Allah's comprehensive control over all aspects of existence, from the cosmic scale to the minute details, from the physical world to the spiritual needs of humanity.
So the cumulative effect is?
The cumulative effect of these rhetorical questions is to demonstrate beyond any reasonable doubt that only Allah possesses the power, the knowledge, and the wisdom to perform such acts, thereby affirming his exclusive right to worship. These aren't just proofs to be listed, they're an invitation. Observe, reflect deeply, contemplate the pervasive evidence of divine power and wisdom all around us, in every breath, every drop of rain, every star in the night sky.
Those are truly amazing, comprehensive proofs from creation, leaving no stone unturned, really. But beyond these, the Surah returns to that ultimate reality we started with, the hereafter.
Yes, the foundation.
It states unequivocally that only Allah knows the unseen, the ghaib in the heavens and earth. And He alone knows the precise time of the hour, the day of judgment, a knowledge completely hidden from all creation.
Absolute divine prerogative.
What signs will precede it? The Surah mentions signs. Why reveal signs if the hour's exact time is unknown? If we can't mark it on our calendars, what's the purpose of the warnings?
That's a crucial distinction. The purpose of these signs and warnings is not to provide a precise countdown timer. It's not for predicting the exact day.
So what is the purpose?
It's to establish undeniable proof, to leave no excuse for disbelief when the time truly arrives, and, perhaps more importantly, to provide people with a stark opportunity for reflection and repentance before it's too late. They are wake-up calls.
Okay, what are some of these signs mentioned?
They include the emergence of the beast of the earth, described as appearing when mankind has become thoroughly corrupt, when truth has been widely abandoned. This creature will actually speak to people, confirming their disbelief in Allah's revelations about the hereafter.
A talking beast. Quite dramatic. Others?
Other major signs include the sun rising from the west, a complete undeniable reversal of the natural order, a smoke, a dukhan, that envelops the earth, the emergence of Ya'juj and Ma'juj, Gog and Magog, seen as immense destructive forces, the descent of Prophet Isa, Jesus, peace be upon him, the appearance of the Dajjal, the Antichrist or false Messiah figure, and 3 major land cave-ins or collapses.
A sequence of major world-altering events.
Yes. And the beast and the sun rising from the west are often identified as the first major signs, indicating the end is very near, with the others following closely, signaling the rapid approach to the final hour.
And the point is, once these major signs appear,
the surah emphasizes that the time of judgment is inevitable, a fixed appointment, and believing then at the very brink of destruction or after these major undeniable signs have appeared will be of no avail. The door for repentance closes.
too late.
Too late. On the day of resurrection, all nations, all individuals from all time will be assembled, and every single individual, every soul, will be held meticulously accountable for their deeds, great and small. Nothing missed.
And Allah's position in all this?
Allah's absolute independence and self-sufficiency are stressed. His Godhead is neither enhanced by our gratitude nor diminished by our ingratitude. He is sovereign in his own right. His greatness does not depend on creation's acknowledgement or rejection. He is never unaware of what people do. Every action, every intention, every thought is known, recorded. Justice will be meted out precisely, perfectly, without a hint of unfairness.
So for you, the listener, thinking about this certainty of ultimate accountability, even if it's not immediate, how does that fundamentally influence choices and actions today?
It has to, doesn't it? It shifts one's entire perspective, away from just short-term gain and fleeting pleasures towards long-term consequence and meaning. It instills a profound, inescapable sense of moral responsibility. It makes you strive to live your life as if every moment, every decision truly matters, because according to this worldview, it absolutely does.
So let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for us now in our modern lives? This deep dive into Surah Al-Naml has truly offered, well, a rich tapestry of profound, timeless life lessons.
It really has.
We've seen the critical importance of Tawhid, the absolute oneness of Allah, and a firm, unwavering belief in the hereafter as foundational principles. Not just nice ideas, but the bedrock for a truly meaningful, purpose-driven existence.
Absolutely central.
We explored how the denial of the hereafter isn't just an intellectual position, but can be a profound spiritual and psychological affliction, leading to self-deception, moral decay, and ultimately a purposeless existence, where truth and falsehood become dangerously blurred.
And we also witnessed, through Prophet Musa's powerful story, the awe and humility that are truly appropriate before the divine, contrasting so sharply with the destructive power of arrogance, kibr, which was powerfully exemplified by Pharaoh's conscious denial despite his own inner conviction of the truth. He knew, but refused.
Right, and Prophet Sulaiman's narrative.
That illuminated the virtues of knowledge coupled with gratitude, showing us that true, divinely bestowed knowledge inherently fosters humility. It prevents arrogance, almost acting like a shield against ego.
And his leadership.
His leadership highlighted diligent oversight, profound responsibility, and the remarkable wisdom found even in the smallest creatures, like the ant, teaching us about collective responsibility and empathy.
Don't forget the Queen of Sheba.
Definitely not. Her sagacious conversion underscored the inherent power of truth to overcome obstinacy if it's met with wisdom and an open heart rather than blind pride, proving that true discernment can transcend even deeply entrenched beliefs.
And finally, the cautionary tales.
Yes, the accounts of Thamud and Luti serve as powerful, stark reminders of divine justice and the inevitable, often catastrophic consequences of rejecting prophetic messages and openly defying moral boundaries, showing how divine will always prevails over even the most intricate human machinations.
This Surah Al-Naml, it really gives us a comprehensive guide for human conduct, doesn't it? Emphasizing the profound interconnectedness of faith, action, and ultimate accountability. It offers timeless lessons on leadership, on morality, on the profound wisdom embedded within Allah's creation, and on that delicate balance between human free will and the overarching divine plan. So, as you, our listener, go about your day, perhaps consider this. In what subtle ways does arrogance, that kibr, or maybe the denial of consequences, whether immediate or ultimate, in what ways do these show up in our modern lives, in our decisions or interactions, perhaps even in our societal structures?
That's a searching question.
And what personal or societal transformations could truly begin if we consciously embrace the profound interconnectedness of belief, deliberate action, and ultimate accountability, if we really live as though every choice echoes into eternity?
Indeed. Lots to reflect on there. And remember, there's always more to learn, always different angles. Considering multiple perspectives fundamentally enriches understanding. Critical thinking remains absolutely essential in this world of overwhelming information.
Well said. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Surah Al-Naml. Until next time, keep digging for knowledge and stay curious.